Hey everyone, and welcome back to See You Next Thursday. I am Willow of Pixie Retreats,
And I'm Tree.
and we were going to talk today about the power of self-talk. And we have been diving into Neville Goddard, who is one of these New Thought leaders from the end of the turn of the 19th century into the 20th century. We're now in the 21st century, so we're talking, this is a long time ago. But this guy's really interesting, and we've got all of his books, and we tend to listen to a lot of the things that he talks about. And one of them is self-talk. So, what he's really pretty much saying is that the conversations that we have with ourselves about ourselves actually shape our external reality. And, if we are coming from a place of negativity or fear or doubt, those are the kinds of circumstances that we're creating in our day-to-day life. The way that we speak about ourselves is what comes about in our day-to-day. Any thoughts around that?
Well, basically, you are already that what you wish to be. And it's basically just assuming the feeling of your wish being fulfilled.
Woo!
Oh, the plants. That's what happens when it's
There's like a little bit of a
crazy.
breeze right now, but it's also hot AF. So,
Yeah,
thank
so
God for the breeze.
repeatedly affirming and feeling as if we're already the person we want to become. And that's really working with the self-talk, the inner dialogue. It can be a hindrance and it can be a total blessing, and it's our decision on how we choose to work with it and our monkey minds 24/7. It's a big job.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder how we have time to do anything else other than manage our emotions and our breathing and our preparing our food and our whatever our practice is, movement and stuff. And it's just so valuable, all of those tools. And I'm just not sure how we're supposed to manage life at the same time, which is where then trips up our self-talk, because
Yeah.
all of these other voices come in from other people with opinions and beliefs on how we should be, and it's just a matter of quieting it all down and trusting that your divine self will ascend to the place that it truly wants to be.
It's really, really true. And, we can begin these kinds of processes of working on our self talk by reprogramming our subconscious mind. And so, what Neville Goddard would say is that our subconscious mind is highly impressionable and responds to the content of our self-talk. So when we're repeatedly making statements that are not positive about ourselves, we are reaffirming that. And our subconscious mind is where it's where we can begin to erase this old talk off of the chalkboard of our lives, like, the things that we were told as kids, like, I got to hear I was too much. Willow, you're just too much. You're so dramatic. You're so
You
this.
still get to hear that.
I do. And you know what? It's like F off, people. It's like, this is just how I came. This
is who I be.
This isn't a bad thing. It's like, why am I too much for you? Well, then maybe this isn't the company that I need to be keeping. But our subconscious minds help us to create our experiences. So if we can change our inner dialogue, we can really begin using the subconscious as the powerful tool that it is for reprogramming our minds in our day to day. And a really great way to do that, because our subconscious, we're the most in touch with our subconscious minds right as we're drifting off to sleep and right when we get up from sleep. And so, because all that momentum has stopped in the day, we're able to, at those time frames, like for me, when I get up first thing in the morning, I'll just lay there for a little bit and I'll do some affirmations, or I'll segment intend. I'll say to myself, one of the things that I really have been saying a lot is that everything is always working out for me. I think it's a really simple one. It's not, it's not saying a whole lot. It's simple and it's really concise. And it's really easy for me to believe that. Everything is always working out for me. And when I do that, first thing in the morning, I'll lay there and just say it to myself over and over like 20 times. Everything is always working out for me. And then I say, and so it is. Everything is always working out for me, and so it is. And I'll do that 20 times. And then before I go to bed at night, I'll do the same thing, because our mind is, the momentum has slowed. We're at that point when we first wake up in the morning, we're not in the beta state, where that's a frequency. We're not in that frequency of beta, which is, when we're moving through our day-to-day of our lives. We're in that sleepy state that is either alpha or theta, depending. And in those states, we can really get in there and start to reprogram the subconscious mind.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, your inner speech is creative. So every word spoken internally is like planting a seed in your subconscious, in your mind. And so if you're constantly speaking about failure or unworthiness, you're just drawing more of those potential scenarios to you. Or you can choose to focus on your self-talk that's filled with self-confidence and love and appreciation. You're successful, you're healthy, you're loved, you're taken care of. And then more situations will appear than not to match that vibration. And so when I think about that, practically it's a very simple thing to consider. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's not so easy, because I often find myself in the other area, which I know is like a hindrance. And I think maybe because...
What do you mean, the other area?
The other area of unworthiness, of doubt, of whatever it is,
Fear.
Nobody cares
shame,
about me.
Guilt.
Those things.
Yeah.
It's like the
that
inner
are really
child,
low vibe.
Inner child. But it's you want to cuddle that inner child and that thing that's, the trauma point, and let he or she knows everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the inner dialogue is really important, and I mean that's kind of the cornerstone for everything in terms of vibration and attracting that inner being, the inner voice, the self-talk. It's the thing that it navigates us through our day-to-day.
It really does.
And it's amazing how we can have so many good days, considering I'm sure that self-talk is like in the dumps more often, but you still manage to have a good day. Maybe not as good as you would like, but imagine keeping that thought elevated all day long. And if I ever manage to do that in any time coming up, I'll share. I have where I'm focused on my breathing all day.
Uh-huh.
All my self-talk has been amazing, and nothing can thwart that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if I can make that happen. It's gonna be really hard. But
well, just saying it's going to be really hard means it's going to be really hard. Why not look at it like it's going to be such a great day today, and every time I get off point, I'm going to get myself right back on point, or I am worthy. I am worthy of everything good coming my direction today. That's why I think segment intending is really great. Just every time we approach a new segment of the day, we approach it with a positive affirmation or a positive, just stopping for a moment and visualizing something great. Like sometimes when I'm feeling low, I picture being in Hawaii. There's a spot in Hawaii that I just love. And I picture myself leaving the condo and walking this path to the beach that I love so much. But in that walk, it's like the sights, we're up high, so I can see the ocean from up high. I can smell all the amazing semi-tropical plants. I can see the birds and hear their amazing sounds. I can hear the wind, and I can feel how it feels on my skin. And then once I get down to the beach, it's this really, really gorgeous beach. It's like how the water feels, how the sand feels under my feet. It's such a luscious, juicy, wonderful memory that it's one of the things that I reach for when things don't feel good, and it usually gets me back into a more equal place, a place of equilibrium where I'm not in that negative spot anymore. I've lifted my vibe up.
It's helpful too, though, if you have someone in your realm, like a partner or something.
It is.
And you both are interested in having these kinds of conversations or wanting to get to a different place in your mind or in your physical realm or whatever. So it's easy to have a teammate, basically, or even a best friend that when you talk to each other and you hear the lack and the won'ts and the don'ts and the can'ts and the wants, even, to gently bring to each other's awareness of maybe you can try a different word. You know, if you thought about approaching it this way.
Yeah.
And
Just maybe just shifting slightly and approaching that again.
yeah. So
Right?
yeah.
You know, another thing that Neville talks about, and we haven't really gotten into this one a lot, so I'm just gonna skim it because we'll end up doing a See You Next Thursday on this. But it's the law of assumption, and it's a central concept that states that whatever you assume to be true will become your reality. So this one's really cool, and this law, the law of assumption, really ties into self-talk, because if we're consistently assuming that everything is always working out for us, guess what? Everything is always going to work out for us. And if we're constantly assuming that my boss is going to treat me like shit today, well, guess what? There's a really good chance you're going to have some kind
Somebody's
of
gonna treat you that way.
miscommunication, right? If it not with your boss, with somebody or many other people throughout that day. You know, I mean, for a good example, I had woken up on the wrong side of the bed. I've done it many times, but this was a few mornings ago, and I went out, and one of my little joys in life is sometimes going out and getting a decaf coffee someplace. I don't drink coffee a lot, but when I do, I know exactly what I want. And so I go to get this coffee, and I was in a bad mood, and just nothing worked out for me. They got it wrong. They put whole milk in it instead of coconut milk, because I can't, you know, I'm a vegan. I just don't go there with any of the animal or the dairy products. And it was just one thing after the next. And I finally realized, like, I am drawing every ounce of this to me. I am assuming that everything's going to be shit because I woke up feeling this way. And as soon as I could collect myself, which was really challenging because there was already quite a bit of momentum around it, I really just kind of had to go and sit and be by myself for a little bit, because I was definitely making your day not great.
Self-imposed time out.
I had to have a self-imposed time out, for
There's
sure.
tips for transforming your self-talk, and one of them is just starting with awareness.
Yeah.
So noticing your inner dialogue and being more conscious of it. It's like remembering to, am I breathing? Or what's going on in there? You know, like, let's reword that one.
I love the breath one. I love, it's like, am I breathing? Because so often we're holding our breath, and especially when we're having shitty days, or we're in conflict with somebody, so often we are holding our breath, or we're up here. Oops, I just hit my microphone. We're breathing from up here rather than down here, which is where we should be taking our breath from. So stopping every once in a while, even if you're having a great day, and just checking in, like, am I breathing? Am I breathing deeply? You know,
So-
it's really helpful. You know, another thing is conscious reprogramming. So when I catch myself, we were basically just saying this, when I catch myself in the negative self-talk, I stop that momentum as quickly as I can, and I rephrase by, you know, saying everything's always working out for me. I love my life. I love my friends. I have so many amazing friends that are such a positive reflection of who I am. There's just, you know, it's just catching ourselves in those moments, taking a step back, and starting over and trying again. Try harder.
Dust your shoulders off.
Right? You fall down, dust off those knees, get up, and get it moving again. And then also affirmations. It's
which
like
we've talked
I'm
about
like
too,
the
but-
queen of an affirmation. I was just basically said affirmations as I was doing that, but just reprogramming and constantly throughout the day reminding yourself of how fantastic you are, how much you have going for you, how many people love being around you, you know, what you're capable of doing for others, what you're capable of doing for yourself. These kinds of
And-
affirmations will really propel you forward in a really positive way.
Feel it as if it's real.
Oh yeah.
Embody the feeling. And
How do you do
you're
that?
there. Well,
How do you-
for me, I'm such a daydreamer. I can quickly go to somewhere else when I'm in a place.
You can?
Yeah, very quick. It's just, I think I learned it as a coping mechanism when I was younger.
Yeah.
But so it's almost like I have an invisible shield, and then I can
Like your
go.
own psychic self-defense.
So capturing the feeling, the challenge for me sometimes is it's not to feel the way I want it to feel, embodying that. It's that I may be focusing on why it hasn't happened yet, or why I don't have it, or how can I possibly get it with what I have now, and or longing for something. Like, it's those are the things that slow it down. So I have to just constantly remember to feel, embody, and just start getting really into what the vision looks like, and sticking with it and let it come to life. I mean, there's no telling how long it takes. Sometimes it happens really fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like it takes a little longer, but I think part of that reason is because we're maybe thinking from a lack perspective more, and focusing on more on what we don't have versus what we want. And so that's just, I'm going to practice it more as if it's my breath.
Yeah, exactly. That's really good. And so by mastering our inner conversations, we are consciously creating our lives from the inside out, which is really powerful. It's like when we're going to our inner world, rather than focused on what's happening outside of us, and making our choices and speaking about ourselves based on what is happening outside. None of that matters. It's all about that inner guidance, that inner voice, and we can consciously create the life that we want by choosing the ways that we talk about ourselves. And the ways that we talk about ourselves, it gives other people permission to do the same thing. So if I'm talking negatively about myself, it gives that person that I'm having the conversation with, or that group that I'm discussing, it gives them that same permission to look at me and to treat me and to speak to me that same way.
And those
So
are
we
low
really,
vibe.
that's really low, it is low vibe. So we want to, come from that higher vibration and have our self-talk be really powerful, because we are really powerful. Each one of us is really powerful with something to bring forward and share with the world from that really authentic place. And so the way that we talk about ourselves is really, really, really important.
And
so
so
let's
it
do
is.
it. And so it is. So let's choose wisely, and let's speak in the affirmative, so that we can draw to us what it is we really want, not what we don't want.
Get you some.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us
yeah.
today on this little chat about self-talk. And remember, as always, these are practices. It's like we get really good at something when we do it over and over and over again. So my polite suggestion to everybody is say something really nice about yourself first thing in the morning and right before you go to
Gina,
bed.
I'm fine as hell.
That's right. Exactly. Whatever it is that needs to be lifted up, affirm it. So, if you liked this See You Next Thursday, please hit that like and subscribe button and share it. And we will pick this back up and see you next Thursday.
Get you some.
Peace out.